It's time! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 5 of our Fantasy MXperts. I am Chase.
And I'm Charles, and we're going to Red Bud.
We're going to Red Bud. I legitimately just got lightheaded. Just got lightheaded doing that intro.
That was fantastic.
Anyone
4th of July weekend.
Anyone watching just now had to wonder, what the hell is going on?
Hey, we're celebrating the 4th early. We're getting ready for this weekend, and we're going to talk about some racing.
Oh, my goodness. Woo!
Yeah, we've had a week off, and, man, I am excited to be back, excited to watch the races this weekend.
And we got Garrett Marchbanks calling in here in a few minutes, a Utah local, G-Money.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's only going to get better, folks. Well, thank you for tuning in live. If you've never played ARM Fantasy MX before, you're missing out. That's where you want to go. It's free to play. You sign up, you make your top 5 picks, you pick a wild card, you win weekly prizes, you can win, well, you always win ARM Fantasy Cash, and we got grand prizes up for grabs. Speaking of grand prizes, Chuck, what do we have?
Pull those puppies up.
Woo!
We've got first place, the KTM 300 SX, fully race prepped.
Like that.
That thing is awesome. Second place, Ticket to Ride. Third place, Starcross tires for a year. Those things hook up really good if you've never ran those before. And then 4th through 10th, other grand prizes. Check those out on our website if you have any questions. What's up for grabs this week?
Oh, Chuck, we got all sorts of stuff. Sam, get them up on the screen, please. ASV C6 levers and accessories. FMF casual prize package. Those water bottles are for sale on our website right now. It looks like a silencer. You should have one anyway.
Kinda cool.
MSR NXT gear set. 4th, we got an MX-10 helmet from Bell. Maxxis tires, O'Neill riding gear set, Works Connection hooking it up with all the goodies. Bell Ray, $200 spending spree. Dirt Tricks with their
It's sprockets this time.
impossible to wear out sprockets. It is sprockets this time from Dirt Tricks. And then we got Scott Goggles hooking it up with the goodies there as well. That's just your weekly. We do the fantasy cash. When you score points, you get cash that spends like cash on Rocky Mountain's website. What is not to love about some fantasy? I'm extra jacked for this episode today. I just feel it.
America.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to go back a few weeks because we didn't have a show on Monday or last Monday.
Yeah.
Had a weekend off. Chuck?
Thunder Valley, big upset.
Big upset.
At least
Hey,
to me.
before we get into big upsets, though, we have to give credit where credit is due. On the weekend off, these guys weren't racing, but you know who was ripping hole shots in the plus 30 class and winning motos at Endurocross in front of his girlfriend?
That's right.
Chuck.
Holding it down for the vets.
You did it, dude.
I did it.
Ripping hole shots,
Ripping and
moto
gripping.
wins in front of the girlfriend, dude.
Yep.
That's guaranteed yes when you propose.
Yep. Hopefully she won't leave me now.
The question, when? I said when you propose, Chuck. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Stay tuned.
Okay.
What are we doing with that?
Yeah, what are we doing?
We got something coming up real quick.
I'm just listening to this.
Okay, I'm just saying, like,
it's good,
bro. You should have just improvised and won that moto, and then just immediately gone and proposed.
Man, I missed my chance.
Cap the moto win off with a proposal. That's a memory forever.
Dang it,
Okay.
missed my chance.
Well, here are your results from High Point. Hunter.
I thought.
Wait, hold on.
I thought Jet was
Hold
just
on.
gonna decide to go
Chuck,
1-1.
Did you put these up here?
I didn't put those up there.
Oh,
is that not in order?
Samsonite.
Man, wishful thinking over there.
I'm gonna blame Kedrick on that one.
Kedrick. Okay.
Yeah, once Jet had 4 moto wins in a row, I was like, okay, this season's over. The battle's for second and on.
That's what I thought. Lo and behold, Hunter just getting good starts. We'll talk about that. But he goes 1-1. Jet goes 2-2. Deegan's doing Deegs things, 3-3. We'll talk about the little mind games if we even want to bring it up. Prado, another 4th. AP 5th. And then Freddie Norn. Fast Freddie with the wild card.
Oh, yeah.
Charles, it was not a good week for me in points. How many did you get?
It was not that bad for me. I got 58 points. So pretty decent. I'm sitting at 198.
I got 57. You beat me by 1. You're at 198 total?
Yeah.
I think you're kicking my butt right now. We'll see that here in just a little bit. All right, fair enough. These are results. Let's talk about some player stats, though. General fantasy stats. Oh, we'll do the leaderboards. There it is. Scott.
343.
Dang.
Scott Hauser 341.
What's that like? I
Must
don't
be
even
nice.
know.
Yeah, he's
I mean, Emig's not in it this time. Where's he at? Slacker. All right. And then the M Experts group. Ooh, look at that. Dr. JB just up there at the top.
Yeah.
What a baller. Bailey, our social media girl, still right there in fourth at 276. Uncle Rick. All right. Okay, yeah.
great name.
High point top scores. We had some perfect scores, folks. We had
Yeah.
2.
That's awesome.
All right. Thunder Valley results, though. Hunter, first place, 5%. Wait, hold on here.
You know what's crazy?
what?
Actually, no, you're getting into these right now.
What?
First place, Hunter Lawrence with 5% of the picks.
That's got to be wrong, though. Because this says
That
Jet
is
was
kinda-
this
yeah,
says
that's-
Jet was 7.
For second place,
There must have been some typos here.
I don't
Deegan
know.
was 57% of players were picked for third, so that's good.
Yep.
Fourth place, Prado was 63% of the vote. Plessinger, 10% had him in fifth. Only 1% had Noren in 12th.
That was those two guys.
Hunter was only
Must have
5% picked to win. Is that what you're saying, Christian, right now? Oh, I don't know. Average player points were 54.47. You and I, Charles, just both above average. The highest
Nice.
average we've had so far this season. Well, now that we've got our top 3 kind of like asserted, it's kind of where we're at.
You pretty much know where to put
3
people
perfect
now.
scores. First one since round 1. Only 13 perfect scores. This is interesting. 13 perfect scores this year. Last year, we had 1,056 through 4 rounds.
Wow.
What is
What
I
a
mean,
difference.
Seriously. 82% had 4 of the correct top 5 in their picks. 90% of players had Jet in first. There's a stat I was looking for.
Yep.
Marchbanks was the most picked rider to not make the top 5. Breaking hearts there, 33%. Hampshire was 30% picked to make top 5 but didn't. 8% of players still had Kunin. Folks, update your picks.
Craig was the most picked for the wild card. I believe he ended up 9th.
Yeah. AP,
So
biggest sleeper pick. Only 12% of players had him in their top 5. He's in my top 5. Something to remember, too, this weekend. Tony Cairoli is back for Red Bud again. Southwick. And remember, the Kunin brothers will be at Southwick. And then Millville, Ducati will be, or Cairoli will be there, too. So let's see. Cairoli took 14th, 15th, and 14th in those 2 rounds last year. Well, the wild card's 8th, so I'm not too stressed about it.
yeah.
And he hasn't been racing
Should be
over
good.
an MXGP either. I think he's coming over here just because he likes to every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good time. Our picks are safe for now.
For now. This year.
Yeah,
All right.
this year.
Okay, well, let's get into it here. What was Christian typing up here at the top? Hold on real quick. First place.
About the
Hunter.
percentage?
Oh, Jet was only 7%. So, yeah, if Jet was 90% picked for first, then, yeah,
Yeah, that
makes sense. He was 7%. Only 7% of people had him in second. It is crazy. All right.
Well, that said,
What?
we're ready for the KTM race recap. Let's check out the 250s.
Kitchen. Crashing some more. Ooh. Stood
Yep.
it up. Tried to lean it over just a little bit too far there.
Yep.
Who's your pick to win 250s? Hammaker's dead or crashed out. We
yeah.
loop out Larry. So Beaumaire crashes out of first, which was a bummer. He would have won that moto. Beaumaire's been the absolute surprise this season.
Yeah,
though.
he's been killing it.
But now that Hammaker is, you're not going to say out of this, but I mean, his shoulder looked jacked. Don't know if he's going to race this weekend, but
So,
obviously he's going to be pretty far back in the championship now after that.
oh yeah, that crash was so gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, Kitchen's been okay, but he's not getting the starts.
He's not. Kind of
And-
wondering if Shimoda starts knocking off some moto wins here.
I don't know. The starts just haven't
Picking
been that
things up.
great. I mean,
They haven't been.
Shimoda, I mean, his racecraft is hilarious. I got to be honest. Like, anyway, I don't know. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm kind of starting to lean toward Davies.
Yeah. Yeah, he's picking up
I
the
mean,
steam.
the starts are good. He just went 1-1. I mean, I don't know. All right,
Yeah.
450s. Prado, aggressive off the start. I don't know what this one is. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Oh, this one he bumped Hunter, huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, here's a question for all you people in the chat. Prado, right where you thought he would be by now? Underwhelming or overperforming? I would love to know. Where do you have Prado right now?
I really think he's your fourth best guy. So,
Well,
and he did better, or he's doing better than I expected, because
he's doing
I
better
thought
than you expected.
Yes, because I know that he spent however many months training at Fox.
Yeah.
But I was like, before going into the season and seeing Chase, I was just like, oh, he's making excuses about the bike, blah, 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 all that stuff. I didn't expect him to really do that much better on the KTM, and he's done better.
I am on the other end. I am underwhelmed by Jorge Prado. But just because two-time MXGP, he hasn't even he's led one lap, I believe.
He did, yep.
One lap. But, I mean, his start's been good, but not pulling hole shots.
Mhm.
I fully expected him to have led maybe half a moto by now or led laps in multiple motos, but only has moto podiums from Fox Raceway. Modiums, exactly, Modiums. And so I'm just like, okay, he's not, because when he was on Cowie, he would get starts and then run up in the top 5 for over half the moto. So I don't feel like he's that much better than he was on Cowie. Like, he's still 4th or 5th place guy. He's just able to stay there a little bit deeper into the moto. I'm a little let down.
Yeah, and I feel like he's getting a little better starts, right?
Yeah, but like Supercross was like nobody expected him to podium or to win or anything.
Yeah.
So how he performed in Supercross was great.
Yeah,
But
it was awesome.
Knowing what he's already done in outdoors, I just expected him to be better by now.
Yeah.
So I'm a little underwhelmed. And then AP caught and passed him and just straight up beat him last week.
That was awesome.
And then Prado decided, I don't want to get beat by my teammate, and picked it up.
Well, and I wonder if AP's fitness is getting better. Like, he's getting back in the groove, and
Yeah, maybe.
he crushed
I
it.
don't know. How about Ferrandis, though, with Tondel?
oh,
Ouchie.
yeah.
Where
That looked like it hurt.
the Tech Air airbag. Oh, my. Look how far he bounced off the ground.
Yeah, it's like
Dude, that was
just
violent.
slamming into the side of that bank.
Oh, that was violent. I mean, you want to talk about some broken ribs, man. Oh, brutal.
Yep.
All right, Chase Sexton, if anybody doesn't know, it's confirmed, torn ACL. He's had the surgery and back on the mend. I'm not even going to ask that will we see Chase Sexton on a Cowie thing because nobody freaking knows, so I'm not even going to bring it up.
I mean, he's going to be out for the whole season, right?
And, dude, honestly, I feel like we're just beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm over it. I'm over that. All right. Yeah, is Stewart going to be back? Don't know. What's up with Barsha? Barsha had a lower back injury. Tomac, don't know how long he's going to be out. Have you heard anything, Sam?
About who?
Tomac. Is he out for the season?
I have not heard any official word on Tomac.
All right.
And then, yeah, Jay Coop, I think he was trying to be back by Redbud, but I haven't heard anything official of him being back.
Oh, yeah. No
I don't know
idea.
if you guys have. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything official.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out. And we got Garrett Marchbanks coming up here in a few minutes. So if you have any questions for Garrett, make sure to put those in the comment section. We'll try and get to some. All right. FMF track trends. It's Redbud. Weather. Got some thunderstorms rolling in Saturday. Weather's looking all right, though. Like, small chance of rain. We could get some little flurries going in there. But, Chuck, if you could
Keep it nice
race,
and cool.
if you could ride any of the tracks on the whole outdoor season, look at that. There's another moto track up there on top. Is Redbud your favorite?
With this,
Is this your favorite race?
dude, it would be my favorite to watch. For some reason, I think Washougal would be awesome to ride just because of the trees and all that.
I like Millville.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of
That'd be cool.
trees around this track. It's all just grass. I like the tracks that have a lot of trees and stuff. But
Same, but
it
yeah,
is
as
a cool
far as
racetrack.
being hyped up and being an awesome race to see, I'm sure this one's awesome. I've never been to Redbud.
I'd have a
Have
hard
you?
time. No, I'd have a hard time even going just because, look, you're going to be surrounded by 30,000 whatever, just at some point really obnoxious moto fans, if I'm being totally honest. I just, if you're not going to go there and plan to just get hammered and drink the whole time, it's like, kind of why would you want to do it? But before we get back into it, though, let's talk to a Utah local. He is on the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. The one and the only Garrett Marchbanks.
Hey, what's going on?
How we doing?
Good, I'm good. How about you guys?
Doing
You
great.
don't call him man-child for a reason. Look at that mustache. He looks like he's older than me. 25
How's-
going on 40.
Yeah,
25 or 24?
24.
Young buck.
Yep.
You know what's, you know what my first ever Garrett Marchbank sighting was? I was at this
What's that?
track up by, it was called Amalga, up by Preston, Idaho.
Okay.
Shane Parker used to own it. And I remember being there, seeing this little kid on an 85 just hauling so much ass. It was like I couldn't comprehend it. And it was Garrett. Do you remember those days? You remember Amalga, that sand track up north?
Oh yeah, I remember that track. I miss that place. I wish I got the ride there on 250s. That would have been way more fun on a 250 than an 85.
Hey, I'm curious. I'm curious. Is there any sort of like who's the better Utah guy between you, Pierce, and Hymus? Hymus is from Idaho, but you guys all kind of grew up racing the same series. Is there any of that going on where like you guys want to be like the best guy out of Utah?
I mean, we've never really talked about it that way. Me and Pierce haven't. We don't talk a whole lot much, but I don't know. I'd say in my mind, I always thought that growing up, especially when I went pro, I always wanted to be, one of the better guys. But I would say now, like after Pierce winning, I think it was Arlington stuff. We've had a pretty even lights career, but I don't know. I think we've both had really similar careers in a sense of podiums and wins.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, moving into the 450s for outdoors, I feel like you've exceeded my expectations already. Like, how do you feel this season's going, and what's your goals for this season?
I mean, for outdoors, it was, going into it round one at Paula. For me, it was just get out there with the top 10. Kind of get my feet wet and see how things are going, and see what we need to make better with the chassis. Obviously, Paula wasn't ideal Moto 1 going down with Eli and stuff, but we really learned a lot. Realized what we had to work on, and seemed like we put in a lot of work after Paula and got the bike in a quite a bit better of a spot going into Hangtown. And since then, it's been really good. I've been really pumped with how I've been riding. I've always known I've been really good in outdoors on a 450. So these last 3 rounds have been super good for me. So I'm pumped with it right now.
Yeah, you're looking good. And I'm kind of curious about the bike. Like, once you have it set up a certain way, do you make a lot of changes throughout the week or race to race? Or do you pretty much have a setting or a baseline that you like and pretty much don't touch anything?
For me, in the past, like last year on the lights bike, we made quite a few changes, obviously from Supercross to motocross. But honestly, since Paula, say last year, we didn't really touch a whole lot besides on race day. We'd make some clickers here and there. But this year, just the 450 is a lot different from a lights bike. After Paula, we changed a lot. Seemed like we changed the whole bike completely different going into Hangtown. And then since Hangtown, we've just made small changes, maybe a little bit stiffer of a fork, a couple clicker changes on the shock, things like that. But yeah, no, after High Point, we tried a couple more things, and it seems like it's a little bit better. So I'm excited to see how it is for this weekend.
Why is it that you can, because you've done a ton of laps of Paula, like you stay in California a lot. Why is it you can go into that round one feeling like you've got a good bike setup, race there, and then you say, dude, we completely changed the bike after the first round? Is that just due to the track not being the same as it is on a pro national day? It doesn't get as rough. The speeds are higher because now you're racing and things are changing. Like, why can somebody, it's not always, but why can you be that far off when you've felt like you've done all the work to get there?
Yeah, I think for me, my issue was going when we were doing our outdoor testing through Supercross towards the end and after Salt Lake. I didn't ride a whole lot after Salt Lake. I was dealing with a back issue, so I had to take some time, about 5-6 days off to have that get healed up. But also the issue was I was riding different, so I set the bike up for me being kind of wounded, and so I made it too soft. And when I went into race day, I was like, oh yeah, the track's way deeper, it's way rougher.
But
Um,
what are you feeling? So when a bike is way too soft, for the general viewer out there, what does that feel like when you're racing it? So is it charging the breaker bumps where you're bottoming out? Like, what is the bike doing that you don't like when it's too soft?
Yeah, so for me, what I noticed that round one was the bike was more, instead of say sitting stable, it was real front end heavy. And just when it's that deep and rip that heavy out there, when you let off the gas, when you're going on the gas to off, the bike would just drop. And that's just because on a normal Tuesday the track's not that deep.
Yeah.
So for me, the front end was too soft. The shock was soft as well. So I just had to ride it different. So after Moto 1, we made quite a few changes which helped for Moto 2. But yeah, it was just kind of the balance of the bike, and that was, a lot of it was on me just setting it up poorly. But after my back and everything got better and we all got together after Paula, we got it in a way better situation for me for, race situations.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, Garrett, you're riding good. I've got you. You're right on that bubble of a solid top 5 weekly guy. The starts. We got to talk about these starts. And it's got to be driving you crazy because you've got the speed to be up front, and you're watching those damn Hondas. Just that's got to drive any team insane. But starts have got to be high up on your guys' priority list right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, since Paula, we've been hammering starts out like crazy. It's not like I'm just going back and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll just do 5, 6 starts and we're calling it a day. I mean, we're sitting there hammering starts. We're testing maps. We're trying new engine parts. Just help with the. For me, I think it's the first. It's not the first 10 feet, but after that, is where I'm kind of losing it. And what I noticed on race day, especially at High Point, because I had really good jumps, Moto 1 and 2, and it just seemed like I was a little off on that spot. So some of it was technique, some was just where the power was going on the bike, was just getting pulled a little. But no, we really got together. We did some timing stuff. When I mean timing, just we had the little stopwatch stills on the starts to see how fast we were going and try to get it better that way.
I was going to ask, how do they time that? Do you guys have like a laser, like start,
Yeah,
like
so-
laser to laser?
Yeah, so there's one at like, the first foot, and then the next one's at, 20, 30 feet out there. So we were doing a lot of those to try to get it better, and we found some really good things Tuesday after, what was it, High Point. So no, I think we're in a really good spot. I think hopefully for me, just be more consistent on my starts, just starting in the top 5, because 2023, I could start 10th and finish 5th or 6th. And this year, this field's so much more stacked in the 450 class. You start
Yeah.
10th with you're fighting factory guys the whole time.
Yeah, it's gnarly. Well, so when you're doing those practice starts, are they able to, like, I know it's not, maybe it might be a little apples to oranges, but can they see like Jet and Hunter and Prado, right, 3 your best starters? Can they say, okay, these guys from the millisecond the gate drop to 30 feet out, are they able to somehow measure that so you can compare where you are to those guys?
That it's hard to say, every start's different at a racetrack. You can't
Right.
just take High Point and
You'd have to do it on the
throw
exact
that.
same start.
Yeah, so no, we've never really done it that way. We've done it obviously at the races to see
Yeah.
what maybe I need to do, especially the mapping. Maybe I released the clutch too soon or too late. Things like that. But no, not too much on practice day now.
Interesting. All right, well, Red Bud coming up, America's birthday. You've got to be stoked for this one.
Yeah, no, I love Red Bud. It's always been really good. That one's been always kind of tough on me just on the lights bike because it's so deep out there. These next 4 rounds have always been a little tougher on me, but the years I've raced the 450 though, I've really enjoyed them. It's nice to actually hit the leap. So
I was going to ask you, did you ever do the leap on a 250 once?
oh God, no. No, there's no chance I was gonna hit that.
Yeah.
I looked at it one time, I think last year at Moto 2. We kind of had to run a couple times, and I'm happy I never tried it because I probably would have broke both ankles and both wrists trying to hit it. So
Oof.
no.
What's the sketchiest jump you've ever seen on an outdoor national track? Is there one that stands out to you? I remember
Yeah.
Glen Helen years ago. It was before the national, And it was the only
Yeah.
time where I think the riders like actually put together a little mini union and made him change it. But Glenn Helen had like that 150-foot triple thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I raced Glen Helen once. Not so much that one. I would say Millville. Uh, it's always the big triple step up the hill, going up Mount Martin. That one was just always so hard, especially for me last year on the lights bike. It was just death. It just felt
Yeah.
like if I did not execute that turn perfect for 16 laps, I would lose 2 seconds lap up that jump. So
Well,
no,
and
that
so
one was
that's-
gnarly.
That's just the one spot on the track. You're like, okay, I got to execute right here.
It's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not like a scary jump, but it's if you don't land it perfect, you just bog. Like you're just and you're up. I mean, that hill has got to be deceivingly steep compared to what we
Yeah,
see on
I
TV.
mean, I mean, even the one year, I think it was 23, and last year, I mean, there was a handful of guys that endoed up that uphill and crashed. Like I think the one year in 20, well, I think it was 22, Roxon crashed up it.
Got a little kicker or something.
So yeah, so that one always gets pretty gnarly, especially Moto 2. Millville gets some hidden kickers and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. This year though, I'm trying to think.
Fox is
Yeah,
always
not too
sketchy just
much.
because there's a lot. That's just the lips get a lot of kickers in them, but it's not terrible. It hasn't been bad.
Yeah, I'd say Bud's Creek actually last year. That was the gnarliest one.
I was at
The
that
big
one.
triple step up. Yeah. That one was hard. I cased that jump probably every lap last year. It was terrible.
It's gotta be the worst when you know it's like I have to, but I ain't gonna clear it. I'm just gonna have to suck it up and just case this thing 15 laps in a row.
Brutal.
Yeah, no, it was not fun at all.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
was going to say, we got a bunch of people asking about Chase Sexton in the chat, things like that. But I know there's been all kinds of things said. I guess my main question, to kind of summarize some things up, is have you ever ridden Chase Sexton's bike? And how different is his bike setup compared to yours?
Never ridden it.
Never ridden it.
Have you even
No.
ever wanted to just once?
No, not really. For me, I like to kind of do my own thing, and just watching him ride, he rides so different.
Yeah.
And I just know, I want to say actually in Supercross when I first got going, I tried his bike for a second. Not a huge fat bar guy and things like that, so I wasn't really a fan at first. So, but for outdoors, no. They haven't really been like, hey, try his bike, him try yours. I've offered him to try mine before, but no, I mean mainly the guy that does all the testing on my bike and his bike is Tickle.
So Tickle
Okay.
does test for Chase too?
Yes, he does everyone's. Yeah.
That's got to be tough to like know what you like versus what Chase likes versus this rider, and knowing like, yeah, Garrett's not going to like this, because Trey Kennard I think has talked about that, where he's like he'll test something and he has to decide like, yeah, I think this person might like it, but I don't think this guy will like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because he was out here quite a bit in Soupy. He's just completely different on stuff. Like you said, he likes a completely different motor package. He runs different suspension bars. Me and Brock run really similar stuff. We like I'd say 95% of the things that he likes, I'm gonna like. So yeah, it's really nice to have him and him working with me as a trainer as well. So it also, like, on days if I feel like I'm struggling or I'm unsure of something, he's able to just hop on my bike and get a feel for it. So it's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to me, it's kind of interesting. Like, it seems like the Cowie might not be Chase's favorite setup, but it seems like you excel on it. Like, how do you feel on the bike? Is there certain points you like about it, certain things you don't like about it?
I mean, it's been great so far. I've really enjoyed it. I feel like Supercross was just a huge learning curve for me. The getting to know the bike and honestly riding a 450 for the first actual time in Supercross. So for me, that was just a big learning curve. I really liked it everywhere. Like when I first hopped on it, it wasn't like, oh, it's bad in this area and it's, really good here. I thought it was an all around just really good chassis feel on the track.
Yeah.
Obviously we had our issues in Supercross, and you kind of got to a level, you had to really work on it and figure things out. So I'd say once we got halfway through Supercross, we found a lot of parts and pieces to make it better and more manageable in main events that put more consistent laps in. But for outdoors, I think that's where the bike really excels and does really good. I think you have to be patient with the bike. You can't just rush through it and try to, get lucky with the pieces of putting it together. So for me, it's just being patient, doing the testing, making sure you're trying all the right parts. But no, it's been good so far. I've really liked the bike.
Well, that just based on what you said, it almost makes me wonder if like it wasn't stiff enough in Supercross, but maybe there's more flex for outdoors, or is it a chassis thing or a motor thing?
I think it's hard for me to say what it exactly is. I think for us was a little bit mapping, a little bit motor, a little bit chassis. You just had to figure it out. The last two guys we've had, three guys plus me, we all rode so different. So it wasn't like they had I feel like a base package of like, this is going to work for everyone and this is a starting point. So we all kind of had to find our way with the bike and find, the setup. So, yeah, for me, sorry about that.
You good?
For me, yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of work, but now I feel like we're in a position where there's a good base package and the bike's solid.
It's crazy how when you ride at your level, how fine-tuned. I don't think people understand. I think a lot of just fans, people to sport, want to step back and be, Monday night or Monday quarterbacks or Sunday quarterbacks, whatever they call that, right? But when you ride at the level you guys are at, you guys are so in tune with the motorcycle. I remember when they used to talk about Tomac, they would valve his suspension for halfway and later in the moto, because he would talk about suspension starting to feel softer as the moto went on, because the oil and all that and the shock and just all the components are heating up. So it's moving freer. And so they would have to try and valve suspension to be where he needed it late in the moto. Have you ever experienced something like that?
I feel like that was more of a, amateur thing we dealt with a little bit. I feel like as the years have gone on, things have gotten better and more advanced. But no, I'd say the last 4 years, I haven't really experienced that too much. No.
Are you super sensitive with do you run a moose in the rear and a tube in the front?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. How much, if you were to, do you guys have to valve your suspension differently for a moose? I would have guessed, right? All that unsprung weight.
More weight, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds bad. I honestly have no idea on that part.
Hey, sometimes it's better not to know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as soon as we get in the outdoors, they just throw it on there. It's not like we ran a tube and then went to a moose, So, no, for me, I honestly, that's probably one thing I really haven't thought of. So I have no idea on that part.
Why are you doing the moose instead of a tube? Like, is it
rear?
just a feel thing?
Yeah, because you run tubes in Supercross, right?
Yeah, so we run tubes in Supercross. I think it's more of a team preference thing. Just less rocks and things like that, less of a chance of the tires going flat.
Yeah.
I think in outdoors, you never really hear too much of a front going flat. It's more of the rear, so I think that's why they run it.
It seems like you'd be more prone to a flat in Supercross smashing whoops, where you just, you know what I mean, pinching the tube. Or in Supercross, a lot of the ruts, you always have that super, super hard base. So it seems like you'd still get flats in Supercross, but I guess not.
Yeah, I want to say when they've tested it, it's just the feel of the rear end and the whoops. I want to say it's a real dead feel when you throw a moose on there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, well, moving forward, man, you've got, okay, what are we, Prado, you guys going to be seeing a lot of each other this summer, which Good and bad, right? Do you ever get to the point where you're just like, dude, like again, like I got Prado again, but AP's now he's coming on, but like last weekend, you're probably just like pissed off because you're following AP, he gets around Prado, and then Prado just decides to wick it up a little bit, and then you're just like, guys, chill. Like you were right there trying to break into that top 5 in that second moto.
Yeah, no, I mean that second moto was, I had to come through the pack. Obviously, I passed some guys and fought RJ for a while, and finally got around RJ. Was able to take a breather for about a lap, and then made a hard charge after AP. And then finally, when I got behind him, I was behind him for 5 or 6 laps, just eating roost. And finally, he messed up. I passed him after the quad in the back, and I was like, all right, thank God. Finally got away from that. And then 2 turns later, he passes me right back.
And I was the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, and I was just like, dude, I just fought you for 6 laps and you passed me back. And he was just playing defense really well. But once he got around me, it was like something woke up in him and he took off. And I trailed right behind him. And once we caught Prado, I was hoping they were going to mess with each other enough I could maybe make a 2 for 1 or try to get in the mix some more. But sadly, I made a couple mistakes. And by the time I got on right behind Prado, AP kind of got away. And yeah, Prado is just, he's really good at defense riding. He's good at riding a really wide track. So it was definitely hard to get around him.
That's what I hear, Prado. Just hard to pass.
Rides a wide bike.
All right, fair enough.
I got 2 questions for you.
Ooh.
I don't know which one to go first, but I feel like for my picks and for the fantasy players, I'm going to put you in my top 5. Do you have any reasons to back that up for me? Why I should be putting you in my top 5 this weekend?
I mean, that stuff doesn't bother me too much. I think for me, I'm on a good roll so far. The speed's been there. I think for me, if I just start even top 7, top 6, I think for me, I'm easy. I wouldn't say easy, but a guaranteed 4 to 5 guy at that point. But no, I think for me, I think that's a good pick around there, 4th, 5th.
If we have to put you in 4th or 5th, which one should we be doing? P4?
Oh, he wants P4.
P4.
Garrett, I got you. Go ahead.
For me, the goal is to be, top 3. I think if I can get starts and be consistent up front, I'd like to be 3rd or 4th right there. But for me, there's no like, oh, I need to be 5th or 4th or 3rd or 6th. I just kind of go out there with the mindset of riding my butt off and doing the best I can. So that's about it.
Right. It's been paying off, if you ask me. So
yeah, right now I've got you, Prado, and AP like as interchangeable. It all just boils down to a start, I think, for you guys. I think you guys are all very evenly matched right now as far as the speed goes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it just depends on who starts ahead of who right off that gate.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I've passed all of them at one point also. So, but also they've passed me. So yeah, I get that. It honestly, it's kind of a toss up. So it's whoever's filling the track that day, that weekend. So yeah.
All right.
Well, I have to ask one more thing for Christian.
What?
We have to ask this. So did you ever watch Ricky Carmichael race back in the day? Or seen highlights or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ricky Carmichael, if he was in his prime right now racing an entire motocross season, who would you pick between him or Jet winning the season? Prime, both in their prime.
Both in their prime. I mean, the riding, it's so different. It's like when people compare certain football teams to certain football teams. The eras are different. The riding styles changed. Obviously, I'm going to probably have to say Jet, but if you throw Jet back then, probably Ricky. It's hard to say.
The bikes are different. Like that, I agree. Like it's a fun question to ask, but I don't know how you make that comparison because, like, if you watch James Stewart ride, the dude was like flat-footed, rode like on the arches of his feet. You know, like technique has changed so much. Bike setup, everything.
It is different. So it was almost unanimous. Everyone has said Jet so far that has been asked that. I said that Carmichael might win, and my only reasoning for it is I feel like he's the king at adapting to the occasion, because he had to deal with James Stewart and he had to deal with Chad Reed.
You know,
And he had to step it up each time and dethroned. This was for Supercross, but dethroned McGrath.
here's why I think RC, where he could possibly have an edge, is RC and Stewart. I think the difference between those two and some of the guys now is they were willing to die for it. Like they were going to either win that moto or be splattered on the racetrack. Jet and these guys are more, and you're more calculated. I just don't think anybody now is willing to, if they're not comfortable, if it's the track, if it's the bike, they're not going to ride at a pace where they're still going to think it's winner take all.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. Those guys would have, 2 or 3 crash out motos each. And now it's, Jet's worst overall is a 3rd or 4th on the year. And if you're not going to be consistently in the top 3, you're not going to be in the title hunt. And, it's not 2007 anymore. So, no, it's just changed. I mean, obviously for us, if you're consistently, 1 to 4, you're going to put yourself in a good position. But at least in the lights class, even in the 450 class now, it's like, the guys that have gone 1 and 2 every weekend, they're already checking out in the point system. So it's evolved and changed so much. So it's definitely hard to say, for one race, it'd be hard.
Yeah,
say.
I just don't think you can make that comparison.
No.
Garrett, last thing I'm going to say before we let you go, and I've already said this to you in a text, is freaking September, dude. The bow hunt. It's just out for you. That's our connection. Me and you, bow hunters.
I know. I love it so much. It sucked because I had to take a break from it for a while for my wrist injury and my shoulders, but I got into it last year again, shooting with Cameron Haynes and get a new bow. So I got to shoot quite a bit last year. But yeah, this year I was like looking into it and I'm like, man, the season's going even longer. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to hunt this year. I think I'm just going to enjoy the bass boat and go do some bass fishing instead. So
Sounds like Levi Kitchen did a Bass Pro, like, or he did like a professional or amateur, I don't know, bass fishing tournament. It's a
Yeah.
thing.
that's what I want to get into. It's a lot more relaxing. I don't have to hike my butt off everywhere and get up at 4 a.m. to
Yeah.
go kill an elk or a deer. So
Yeah, probably not as frustrating.
Go
I'd
compete
agree.
with Stu and Kitchen.
yeah, no, I mean, I wish they would just change the SMX schedule. I wish it was 1 race instead of 3.
I wish, yeah,
Back to how like a Monster Energy
just like
Cup.
a Monster Cup, just like one race to rule them all at the very end.
Well, I think you could do the point system because I look at it as some guys that don't do Supercross, but they race outdoors. They sneak in every year.
Yeah,
I say you do the end of the round. So Salt Lake, you should do that. Consider as obviously the championship round, but do that as the first round of SMX,
Hmm.
and then Ironman or whatever is the last outdoor round. You do that as the second round, and then you do the Monster Cup style race. So we get a weekend off, do Monster Cup somewhere in Vegas, and then you do the triple points and you call it a day.
okay, I'm into that.
There you go.
Because you get 1 Supercross, you get 1 motocross, and then you get the hybrid track and you call it.
Okay,
I will say the hybrid track in Vegas last year, that was probably my favorite overall experience at a race I've had.
Was it?
It was awesome.
dude, Monster Cup
It
used to
was-
be like the highlight of the year for me. Like Monster
Yeah.
Cup was sick. Now we're just getting kind of like, now that we're doing the Triple Crowns and stuff, like the Monster Cup thing doesn't seem as cool anymore. But the Monster Cup used to be so freaking sick.
Yeah, it was fun. I never had good luck there, but
Did you ever
It
race
was-
it on a lights bike though?
yeah, I did the All-Star class twice, but the last year I did it, I yarded myself in practice and was not worth a crap that day in the race. It was terrible.
All right.
Yep.
Well, look, man, we appreciate taking the time to do this. busy man, but congratulations on your season so far. I got to give credit where credit is due with how A1 started. We were there. You have turned things around, my friend. You have turned things around.
Yeah, no, it was yeah.
You had to
that
be
one was-
in a dark place for a few weeks there of how the Supercross season was starting.
Yeah, it was just not, I don't know what the hell I was doing that day, but wasn't meant to be at A1, but I mean, I was like, all right, we'll turn it around. And then that Tuesday or Wednesday at practice track, freaking knocked myself out off the landing of a triple and was like, yep, this is not going to be a good year. I was like, this is going to be a long road. So
Oh, well, look, man,
it's been good.
you've turned it around. You're a solid guy right now in outdoors. I fully think an overall podium is coming for you here shortly. And we just got to get off that line, and we're solid, man. So congratulations on what you got going, and we'll be cheering for you this weekend at Redbud.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
All right,
Yeah,
man. Take
thanks.
it easy.
Thanks. See you
See ya.
guys.
What a
What
good
a good
guy.
guy. Triple Jinx. Gotcha.
All right, that was Garrett Marchbanks. Thank you to him for calling in.
Oh, yeah.
All
Get
right,
the inside scoop.
where were we, Chuck? We had just done the FMF track trends.
We are
Michelin, lock them in.
Yep.
Oh,
Michelin,
my
lock 'em in.
goodness. Okay, are these mine?
Yep,
They are
they're
now.
yours.
Okay, Chuck. Who wants to go first? I will.
Let's go at the same time.
Screw you. Okay, your first place pick on 3, 2, 1.
Jed Lawrence.
Hunter Lawrence. The
Well-
man with the momentum leaving for the break.
Yeah, he's got the momentum, but Jet and Hunter, they both have 2 wins, a second and a third. So overalls, they're the same, but Jet has a slightly better average finish per moto at 1.88.
But you know what?
Slight edge.
Hunter hasn't started worse than third in 8 motos. Jet, he's had a couple bad ones,
Yeah,
including last
yeah.
race. I'm going to go with the man with the most consistent starts, the best starting average. I'm going to go with Hunter.
You know, it's not that bad, but Jet has gone 1-1 here both times he's raced it on
I
a
don't want to hear
450.
it.
So
Second place in 3, 2, 1.
Hunter
Oh, shocker. I
for
got
all the
Jet.
same things. I mean, it's obvious. Those are your
They're,
2.
they're 1 and 2.
You're welcome. There's 50 points or
Kind of.
45.
You're either getting fit. You're either getting what?
You're
20
getting 45 or you're no, is it
You get
22?
What are you talking about?
25
it's
for
25,
first.
22,
Yeah, 25, 22. So you're 47
or 20.
or 20.
You're welcome.
Well,
Wow, we're good at math. All right. Third place pick, 3, 2, 1.
Hayden Deegan.
Diggs. Were we talking about this on the show, or was this before?
Maybe
is
before.
Deegan more likely to win a moto? This is a good question for the chat. We asked the question, is Deegs more likely to win starting like third or fourth, and he passes these guys, or hole shotting and checking out? And here was the theory that I brought up, and Charles, you agreed with me.
Mm-hmm.
We felt Deegan was more likely to win coming from behind only because Jet and Hunter, they get out front, like they'll get that 3-4 second lap or gap and just chill. I feel like if Deegs gets a whole shot, he's going to want to do the James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael thing and just destroy souls,
Yep.
which will lead him to ride over his head and crash. So I think Deegs is going to be better off coming from a few spots behind than trying to check out early in a race.
And break them.
Not really relevant for this weekend, but it was just a thought.
Yeah. What do you guys think down in the comments? Some stats for Deegan, though. He went 2-3 here last year on 250s. Average start per moto in 450s this year, 8.0. Kind of
Ooh.
surprising, right?
He hasn't beaten a Lawrence brother yet.
Yep. Hasn't beaten a Lawrence brother yet.
All right.
Uh,
And check this out. He only has 1 first moto podium. So of 8 motos, he's only been on the box 1 time in the first moto. That ain't gonna
that's
cut
kind
it.
of crazy.
Yeah, he's only all his other moto podiums have been second moto. So it's been great. But I think we're still to get in that first overall, we still got some work to do for Deegs.
Yeah. One more thing. Even with the penalties, he still has the 3rd best average finish per moto of active riders if you take
Sure.
Coonan out. But that's 4.5. So
Oh, and
kind
then
of crazy.
last week or 2 weeks ago, everyone talking about like, oh, Deegs was showing speed, catching Jet late in that race, yada, yada, yada. Yes, he was catching Jet, but Deegan did his fastest lap on lap 15, and then guess who did their fastest lap the next lap?
Lawrence's.
Jet Lawrence. So Jet saw him coming and was like, oh, okay. Jet wicked it up, pulled back a gap. That's how she goes. So I don't want to hear any of this. Deegs was catching him, and it's like, no, Jet wicked it up. All right, 4th place in 3, 2, 1.
Georgie Prado.
Gosh, Georgie.
Sorry, Garrett. Maybe if we would have talked earlier, maybe I would have
Well,
swapped it up here.
It's tough. Okay, you've got Georgie for good reasons. 3-5 at High Point last race for 4th overall.
Yep.
He's finished 5th or better in 5 of 8 motos.
Yep.
AP only has 1 top 5 moto. I'll explain why I put that in here in just a sec. Also has the second best average Moto 1 start of 3.75. So for whatever reason, he's been good in the first motos with the starts. So yeah, you and I both got Georgie. All right,
Only guy to lead a lap besides the Lawrence brothers. So
5th place in 3, 2, 1.
I got Garrett Marchbanks right there.
Okay. Why'd you go with Garrett?
So last 3 overalls, 5, 4, 6. I mean, he's right there. He's riding great, exceeding expectations for me. I think he's doing good. We did mention it in the interview. Starts, so average start per moto, 15.13.
Sure said that fast.
15.13. Yeah.
It's like you didn't want us to hear that.
But hear me out, though. So Fox, there was some, some hang-ups there. So after that, his starts have been between 8th and 14th. So
They've gotten better.
A little bit better.
I'm just looking at AP. Average Moto 1 start, 6.5. Moto 2 average, 4.75. Has 4 starts of 5th or better. And he's finished 2nd overall at Red Bud in 2024. So
It's not a bad stat.
I'm just
Not a bad
taking
stat.
emotion out of it. I'm going starts because I feel like him and Marchbanks, like I said, and Prado are almost interchangeable. It's just who can get the start.
Yep.
And I got to go with AP, who's just been locking in the better starts.
I like it. But I got one more thing for you.
What?
Outside of Fox, every moto finish for Marchbanks has been between 3rd and 6th. So the 3rd was Deegan got penalized in the. But yeah, between 3rd and 6th.
Okay, all right.
That's not bad, man.
It's not bad. Garrett is crushing it. But the hard part is he's got to come through the pack more often than not.
Yep.
But fair enough. Okay. All right, that's your top 5. Wild card. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2.
Wait.
Oh, wait, I don't even have the right one.
I have your wild card.
3, 2, 1, go. See, you took Hampshire, and I'm kind of bummed because I was going to, but it doesn't help for us to have the same picks all the time.
That is true.
I've got Mickle. Is it Mickle? Mickle
Yeah.
Harrop, yeah. He just went 8-8 for 7th overall. I feel like Webb DMF'd that second moto. I feel like Webb was going to have a better overall, push him back, so I put him right around that 8th overall spot.
Yeah, and Webb's been crushing
And
the starts.
Mickle's gone. He's had 7-8-8, so he's had 3 moto finishes this year of 7-8-8. So he's right there.
Not bad. Yeah, Hampshire, his overalls are 7, 6, 8, 8, so finished in 8th twice.
But now Ferrandis is out,
Yeah.
at least that we know of.
Average moto starts, though, 7.75. He's
Kind
right
of
there.
expected RJ. Is something going on with him? I expected RJ to be like, get some top 5s or be sniffing a
Well,
podium.
it's because he's been having those crashes.
He's being RJ again.
Nothing too serious as far as I've seen, but
It's kind of being RJ again. Some other honorable mentions, though. AP, he's kind of has the 8th best average moto finish, 11.25. Overall finishes, though, 5, 7, 16, 8. So he's averaging 9th overall. And he started 3rd in 3 of the 4 motos in the second motos this season. So AP's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
All right. Ferrandis, if he shows up, he's pretty banged up. We'll see, though. Past Red Bud overall finishes, though, 12-2-1. He won the overall. That was just 3 years ago. That's your stat, Chuck.
I think it's that's not my stat.
That's Christian's.
But I think that was further back.
Oh, yeah. Because
it
he
might
probably
have been
missed
his
a few.
championship year.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, that was not on my bingo card that Ferrandis would win a dominating outdoor championship in 2021?
I think it was 21. Yeah.
he hasn't even sniffed like a moto win since then. It's bizarre to me.
Kind of crazy.
It's kind of weird. Like, he dominated that
Yeah.
outdoor season 21.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
Nobody
Maybe
will ever know.
everybody elevated since then. I don't know.
Maybe. Jordan Smith, see, overall finishes, he just got 9th overall. He's gotten to 12th, so he's pretty good. He's improved every single round. His starts last season were the best of the season, though, of 9-4. Best
His
moto
starts
finish.
last weekend.
Yeah, he got a 9th in Moto 1 last round. His average starts, not that great, though. It's 16.3. So, yeah, Smitty might not be a bad one.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. That's the wild card.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Chuck, so who you got? We're not that different. Let me get my wild card out of here.
Yeah,
Golly.
so I'm Jet, Hunter, Deegan, Jorge Prado, Garrett Marchbanks, and
What'd you say
Hampshire.
your total points are right now?
I'm 198.
Oh, you're 34 points ahead. What am I doing?
I'm ashamed. I'm not even in the 200s.
You're ashamed. I'm getting destroyed right now. I got to figure something out. All right, well, who are your picks? Comment down
Bad
below
Wolf
who you
has
have.
the same as me.
Who does?
Bad Wolf. How many
Oh.
points you got?
Big Bad,
Bad
Wolf
Wolf?
in here. I don't know.
Hey, you know what time it is now?
Oh, yeah, we didn't. Hold on. Someone put Webb there. Webb's not a bad pick. Thanks, Krista.
Yeah.
Webb's not a bad pick for the wild card as well.
That's a good point.
Webb, he's been putting in the work. Do you see they rented out Southwick? Him and Star and Deegs went there.
That's awesome.
Not what I expected out of Webb to go just like put in some private days
No.
at Southwick.
I mean, that's what's crazy. I wonder, I think Sam brought this up a few weeks ago, but it's like Webb's been getting some starts, and I think he mentioned making some bets on getting good starts. But if he really applied himself and pushed himself in outdoors, I wonder if he could be knocking off top fives.
Oh, I think top fives. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. The thing is like people like look at Webb's performance and think like, oh, he's not even trying or whatever. It's like, do you know how good you have to be on a motorcycle to get a top 10 overall in a pro national? Like, you're the 1% of the 1%ers.
Yeah.
So anybody complaining about saying, oh, like Webb's just not trying, no, like spare me.
Yeah,
He's just like,
it's kind of funny. You think about just like the stick and ball sports, you can have a team of whatever, 20 guys, and they're all really good.
They're
and
all
then
really
you've got 10 different good teams,
So,
but
it's Ferrandis
if
just
you-
not trying because he hasn't won a moto since he won the championship. Like, give me a break.
yeah. Yeah, it's like all those dudes are insanely fast.
He might not be willing to like hang it out like he was on a 250 or whatever because he's older and's got a family, but he's just, dude, it's just insane. These dudes are really good on motorcycles.
Yeah.
They are very good.
And
All
that
right.
brings us right into
Do it.
the MSR Moom event.
I haven't even looked at them.
I haven't seen these yet either. So
I get bored. Have you tried moving up the leaderboard? Oh,
Yeah.
Ouchie.
burn.
How do you feel about Jet doing the roost to him?
I'm
Ooh, ouch.
I'm here for it, but I feel like, no offense to anybody, I feel like that is Deegan living in Jet's head rent free.
Think so?
Yeah, he's given in because when Jet didn't even acknowledge the stuff, Jet had the edge. But now that he's given in to Deegan's games, it's like, okay, you're playing Deegan's game. Deegan is all about it. You know it.
Well,
He's going to enjoy that and laugh.
the problem I see is that now that Jet did that once, he's invited Deegan in to return the favor
Yep.
and mess with him even more.
Yep.
So, because if Deegan does something like this weekend in practice, he can say, "Well, dude, I owed you one."
Yeah.
Type thing. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But Jet and those guys are smart. I'm sure they know what they're doing. So we'll figure it out. All right, what do we got next? Not on Jet's level. His own mechanic.
Ooh. Ooh.
Is it illegal? I wonder. Can a star mechanic put a message on a board? I guess it would make no difference.
For a different rider?
Yeah, like if Jet was going by, could the star mechanic just put out a sign that says Deegs is catching you or something like that?
I don't know. That would kind of be funny.
I've never seen it before. Could it be like this tactic where like his mechanics putting messages out for him to read?
If he's listening right now, let's find out.
Okay. What do we got next? Okay.
Ooh.
But that should be Hunter. Man, a lot of
Should
shade
be
on.
Hunter.
Okay. What next? 1. How many points did you lose?
1. I'm still learning. I'm just a rookie. I'm still injured. I'm not 100%.
Yeah. It's a good thing though that the podium talks are doing them one by one now.
Yeah.
So we don't get the awkward conversations of having them all sit next to each other. Do you think that's why they did that?
I think so because sometimes the questions would be like, okay, this is for all 3 of you, but blah, blah, blah.
And then they would just sit there?
Not know which one to go first.
The thing is, though, is they're all in the same room. Like, if you go to those press conferences, like, Hunter will be here on the podium or Jed or whoever, but then the other guys are just sitting there in the back waiting. So it's not like they're not in the room when things are getting said. They're
Yeah.
all right there.
Yep.
So they still hear it, but it does allow it to not be maybe as awkward. Like, if you have some intense moment that happens on the racetrack, you're not going to make those guys go sit next to each other for during a press conference. Like, you remember when Dungey and Tomac were on there? It was after Marv pulled over for Dunge.
Yeah.
And then Tomac just like flat called him out in the press conference, and Dungey just didn't know what to do.
Yep.
Okay, I lied. I missed those days. Bring it back. Put them all on the table.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, everybody. Well, look, thank you so much for tuning in live for today's show. Again, thank you to Garrett Marchbanks for calling in live. And, yeah, who do you have for your picks? Put them down below. Don't forget, we got Red Bull. I'm not going to do the yell. I got lightheaded.
Red Bull. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, it's all right. Made me lightheaded. But thank you for watching. Make sure to tune in live this Saturday to see who is coming out on top. What's the points gap right now? It's like 1 point, 2 points. It's very
I want to
small.
say, I thought it was 2.
Is it?
You want me to
It's-
pull it up?
Nah, I mean, it's less than 5. It's
2
very-
points.
2
Yep.
point gap right now. I love it.
Perfect.
Hey, you know what we need? What we all want, what we all deserve? Can we get Ken Roxon out here?
Dude, make an appearance.
Come on, Kenny. He's been riding a lot of adventure bikes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I want Kenny back. I miss him. I miss
Yeah.
Ken Roxon.
Would
All
be
right,
cool.
everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in live. We had a blast. Get your picks in. Don't forget. And we'll see you on Monday.
See ya.